We're here with you guys on TikTok, you guys here on Instagram, and then we've got you guys here on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, I think. Um, and we're trying to get in a bit better habit of actually spending a bit more time doing some lives, and it's working out really how we can best deliver that to help people in the right way. Um, I think technology is amazing, but if we're not using it effectively, it becomes hard work. And so we want to be at the stage. There we go. Rather than me moving my head so much around 15 different cameras. So we want to make sure that we're trying to deliver the best way we can. And I think lives are a really interesting thing to be able to use. And it's really good for us. It's actually really beneficial. But we get so caught up with doing 1,001 other things, we don't actually get the opportunity to go and do it all the time, which we need to change. But also, it's making sure it's a good use of our time as well. So, if you guys are here on Instagram, if you're here on TikTok, Morning Ponke, and if you're here on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. More than happy to take a bit of time to answer it. And the big thing with a lot of this is why is that lost? There it is. There you go, camera's back. Why are we doing this at the moment? So we're moving into doing different things in different ways. We're moving into doing more in person. We're leveling up and impacting more companies. So it makes sense to spend time getting to know more people in the bigger, wider range of the audience. And actually, I think for a lot of people, hey B-Star, I'll definitely come around to that. So if you guys have got questions, what is going on with my camera on this one? I think it might just... There you go. All right, so if you've got questions, you can put them in the chat. More than happy to answer it. If not, I just carry on doing a bit of work in the background. So, what have we got in here? So B-Star Official, I've got 2 closing roles and a high ticket setting role. Is handling all 3 too much? It's actually a really good question. I think it depends. It depends on how you feel. So I think if you're an extrovert or an introvert, it makes a really, really big difference. So for the way I see it as an extrovert, if you're an extrovert, you get energy from spending time with people. I think a lot of people that are introverted, they use their energy talking to people. So that means if you are an extrovert and you gain energy from all this hard work, talking to people, actually you've got more momentum behind that. I think other times for people, they can find it harder to consistently spend time talking to people. I'm just going to unplug that camera, I think. Let's leave it on there. So I think it really depends. What are you selling at the moment? How's it going? Are you finding it hard? And also, why are we doing more roles than one? It is also another big part of it. Like if you're really happy doing multiple roles because you like the jumping around and doing different things for different people and it's working and you feel good and it's not affecting your performance, I think it's a really good thing to do. I also think it depends what's going to get you to make more money, and is that the goal? For a lot of people out there, that is the goal. So it's where you're at. So I think that makes a big difference. Yeah, it's busy, but I like it. Again, that's great, right? If you found something that you love doing, you're good at, you make money, and things are moving forward in the right way, you want to carry on and keep doing that. It makes so much sense. I think one of the biggest things for most people out is they're not doing things that they like. And so whether you guys here on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, you guys on TikTok, you guys on Instagram, you want to be at the stage that you're finding something you can really do. Like that age-old thing about if you love what you do, you'll never work again. I'm not a massive believer in that, but it's got some context behind it, right? So if you're fired up and you're enjoying it, it makes life a lot easier. Interestingly, we're doing some events coming up soon. If anyone's on the south coast of England, we're going to be doing some in-person discovery days for businesses to move forward. Ponke says, Ponke444, hello mate. How can I get remote work if I'm based in the Canary Islands? Nice. Depends what your experience is. So if you've got a load of experience in sales, saying sales is like saying sports. It could be the fact that you need to train more from your experience now into being effective in high ticket sales. That might be one part of it. It might be something which you can just jump into a role. So it all really depends where you're at with your level of experience. And I would say with experience, it's not about the amount of time you've been doing something. It's actually more about your effectiveness. There's some people that come into sales jobs and within 6 months, they are better than people that are actively doing that thing for 10 years. And in the same way, with some people who have been doing it for 10 years that absolutely suck. So length of time doesn't matter, but your ability matters, your results matter. And that's the big part with this. It's more working out what are you the most effective with. And this is why for us, it really makes a big difference. I look at people now, so we'll have loads of companies that will scale. So for example, let's say we're working with a solar company or whatever it will be, recruitment company, and their goal is to scale out their business. Some of those, their first step might be to hire an appointment setter. So we have people in our network which we help people find jobs with. Other times they're looking for someone who's a seasoned vet to go face to face. So we'll try and always introduce people to doing those things. And it's part of the programs that we work on. We actually thought about doing a paid version of it for salespeople, where we would train you up specifically for our clients to then get you a role. But we haven't really sort of tested it out to see if there's much of a demand to proactively do it. At the moment, most of our time is spent with, all the time is spent with businesses, which is great. That's really enjoyable. Like we're doing an event on Friday in Southampton. But just literally 6 people, maybe 8, because we want to really spend that time with business owners. So I want to spend the day with a business owner, and deep down we know that a lot of those people out there would be really good to work with us. So we get them to come down, spend a day with us for free. We do a bit of coaching, a bit of training. We look into their business, we fix it, because we know a lot of those people are going to be like, oh, okay, it's worth spending a few £1,000 to work with you properly. So then that's a good introduction and baby step into us. So that's sort of what we're doing with a lot of it now, because it makes more sense. So anyone in the Southampton area or someone wants to travel to Southampton, get in touch on Max. It makes a big difference. Pop your questions in the post, by the way. Right, there's another question on here and I think I missed it. Dig. Right, so yeah, so Ponke, back to what you're saying. Really depends what you're trying to do, depends on your experience. If you've got provable experience that someone can rely on, it's quite easy. You can go off and either find companies that are looking for closers. We've got a database of a load of people which, as our clients go, we can introduce them to. But actually, you want to lower the risk for a lot of people. A lot of the time out there, salespeople are risk because the people hiring them don't have a system in place to train them up properly. So they'll bolt a salesperson in and the business actually isn't set up for it, which makes it harder. Let me just wait here. You can come with me if you like. So that's one of the big things. So it really depends on that experience of where you're at. The problem that salespeople have, I've just put it on the table, for fuck's sake. Right, come with it. I brought it on the table. We're back. Okay. So, yeah, the problem for a lot of salespeople is that they back themselves, which is amazing, but it doesn't help the business owner make a decision to work with them. There we go. So yeah, I think finding people like me to be able to help you find that thing, or placing companies. I don't know how great a lot of these companies are out there for placing people now. And I've heard mixed reviews, but I actually think working out what sector you're the best at of helping. So for example, if you're great at phone selling over the phone on a follow-up for a sweep-up process, find industries where they don't do the follow-up, re-engage them, and just go for a commission-based structure instead. It can make a big difference. Right, let me scroll through, see what else. If you've got any questions, by the way, pop them in the chat. Sales performance coach. Hello, mate. Do you source high-ticket sales roles? We have clients that work with us to scale their business out, and part of that is scaling out the team. So, like I was saying earlier, I'm not sure if you're here. That's part of it. So there's opportunity in there, but it's not something we charge for at the moment. We probably miss a trick. Ronji, hello, mate. How are you? Oh, hang on a minute. Pop your chat questions in the chat, by the way. I will come through. Okay, so Ronji says, hello, sir. I watch your videos and I'm in sales. What's the best opener for UK leads? Okay, so this is something I want to talk about. Saying sales is like saying sports. Like, there's so many variations. You've got B2B, you've got B2C, you've got inbound, outbound, you've got cold calling, you've got warm leads, you've got old data, you've got low ticket, you've got high ticket, you've got tangible products, you've got intangible products. And all of that stuff massively makes a difference on the way you're going to open a conversation. Now you've got to add into it about what is your intention of that call. So, for example, if you're going to make a cold call, your goal is to get the opportunity to talk for 30 seconds so that you can then find a pain point, get them to answer something like no, that gives you a yes, to give you an opportunity to then ask another question, to then carry on for another 60 seconds. If you've got a warm lead, it's more the fact of maybe booking a call. So you're trying to have a more intentional conversation behind it. So tell me more about who you're calling, and then we can go from there. Smart Site Solutions, cool company name. What is it you guys do at Smart Site Solutions? And thanks. We are definitely going a little bit more all in with our content at the moment. We're posting sort of 2 to 5 times a day, which is great. It's definitely something we're enjoying doing, but again, we're being sneaky with it because we want to grow what we're doing. We want to build up an audience. Hey, George.Barnstable on Instagram. Good to see you, mate. So we've got you guys here on Insta, you guys on TikTok, and then you guys on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, in case you wonder who I'm talking to and it's not in your feed. That's actually why. Right, what else we got going on in here? Yusef says, how do I respond to a logistical objection? Death in family of a prospect. You'll hear me say quite a lot of the same stuff with a load of this stuff. It depends what stage of the sales process you're in. This is where I think a lot of people really make mistakes around the selling side of things. Because it makes a big difference. If you're on cold data and you're phoning someone, you've got no real rapport, no real relationship, and you phone them up and there's been a death in the family, that's very different than to someone who you've done the pitch for conversation, they've got paperwork outstanding, and now there's been a death in the family. Because you've got to be respectful, but also you get people to tell you fibs. So it really makes a big difference. Really, really big difference behind it. So again, tell me where you're at with it. Typically, if I phone someone now to chase up a deal and there's been a death in the family, just set the next steps. With a lot of the time, so I'm just getting a message from the team. A lot of the time out there, it is as simple as setting the next step. It doesn't need to be this big, crazy pitch. Have good conversations with people. It's half the battle. With a lot of the solar companies, for example, we work at now, it's not about heavy pitching people. They're already getting heavy pitched by the people. It's actually asking better questions and talking less. And this is why when you've got someone who's giving you an immediate thing of death in the family, even if it is a polite way of getting you to fuck off, if they're using it as a reason, you can't really push back on it too much. You can't call them out and tell them a liar because you're going to burn that lead. But also, you want to make sure you're being respectful and kind. One of the big things I always think is, how would you want to be approached if you said that? And actually, your tone of voice and your pace and everything. Hey, Ojo Bones, I'll come around to you in just a second, mate. So we've got you guys here, and then we've got you guys here, and then we've got you guys here. So yeah, that's the big thing. Let me carry on and look through on this because I was in the second option. I can't remember what the second option was, more of a closing stage. So one big thing, if I'm going to give any of you guys a bit of advice, by the way, removing your ego out of the sales process is one of the best things to do. Like, become really detached from the result and actually try and be the most effective you can be on that call. So as a prime example, sometimes you might say something that adds resistance without realizing it. That resistance then makes them feel pressured. Because they even feel pressured, then they push back because you added pressure at the wrong point. And so because now there's a level of resistance, you might well be at the stage where they're saying anything just to get you out of the conversation. But actually, for a huge amount of the time, if someone's talking about a death in the family, if you push back too much, they're just going to hang up on you anyway. Right, I'm just going to come around and do some other questions behind it. If you get any questions, by the way, put them in the chat. So it's going to come around to here. Ojo Bones, hello, mate. Good to see you. George, thank you, mate. Any advice on cold calling with website sales? So again, context. What is it you're doing? So you're cold calling who? Whom are you contacting? Put that in the chat for me. So for example, hey Jake, are you phoning solar companies? Are you phoning marketing agencies? Are you phoning plumbers? Are you phoning financial service businesses? That's all going to make a big difference behind it, because again, context matters. I talk about context all the time. Context matters throughout the whole thing. So I can't stress it enough. And this is why it makes a difference now. So for example, on this feed, we've got LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You're going to have salespeople that are completely new. Some people that are seasoned. You're going to have business owners with massive companies. Some that have got no one. Some people that are good at sales. Some people that think they're good at sales. And it's hard to be able to guess it all, but I'll try and do my best to be able to help you guys out. Let me know where you guys are in the country as well, by the way. Okay, Ojo Bones is back. Hello. I cold called. Okay, cool. I cold called trade businesses. I had only a few successes at the moment, sold about 4 in 2 months, and I don't seem to be able to close. Okay. So we literally cold call. Well, we've started again now cold calling trade businesses because we get so many inbound leads. We don't need to. Now think about when inside of trades businesses, what industry are you calling and why are you calling them? Are you calling them from the old school method of, I've looked online and I can't find their website, or their website sucks? If that's the case, then you've got to be able to grab their attention behind it. No one really cares about the website. Hey, Jenny, good to see you. By the way, just so you know, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube here, TikTok, and Instagram, in case you see me jumping around. Who are you? Which ones are you calling and why? No one really cares about the website. And also, people are continuously contacted. Think of yourself like the pretty girl in the bar. If you're the pretty girl in the bar and loads of people are coming up to you, even saying nice, normal things doesn't necessarily have the same level of impact. But if you're the ugly guy in the bar, one person coming up to you, you'd have their attention far more because they're not getting contacted as much. So when you're thinking about doing a cold call, is your problem setting appointments or is your problem closing a deal? What you're really going to find is you've just said you only closed 4 in 2 months. So if you only closed 4 in 2 months, reverse engineer that. How many appointments have you sat in that time? Because if you've only sat 4, actually, you've closed 100% of them. You're just not booking enough appointments. If you've sat 80, then it's the fact that you're probably going out and screwing yourself over by not doing a good enough job at the appointment setting stage, so that when you're getting to the closing stage, they're actually feeling more pressured, which then puts them off. A lot of the time, the closing isn't ruined by the close, it's actually ruined in the appointment setting stage. Think of it like having a thermometer of interest. Let's say someone needs to be 85 degrees to buy. If your appointment setting stage is quite loose and short, their thermometer is a lot lower. You want to raise that thermometer up as high as possible in the appointment setting stage without losing the level of curiosity that they're going to have. So you want to keep the curiosity and intention quite high, but the demand for the conversation and still having wanting them to get on the call. That makes a big difference for what you're doing. It's one of the big things we do with companies now is we do it with lead gen agencies, trades organizations, is building that process out better. Jesus Christ, Ojo Bones. And I mean that with love. I was just shocked. I probably send over 20 demo websites a day. So what you're doing is you're sending people something without the value. If you're selling over DMs, that's also the problem. So let me know on that and I'll come back to you because there's other stuff on TikTok. But come back to me. How are you selling? What's your process? Put it in Fred Finstone, like DM, message, phone call, or you cold call, pitch, website, show. Are you cold call, build interest, send appointment, close? Let me know. I'll carry on with this one as well while you're putting it in. No. All right, have we got any more questions in this one here? I thought we did. Okay. So how do you get better? Okay. So close rate wise out there, if you're trying to get a better close rate, focusing on what you're doing on each stage of the journey. There's a really good book by James Clear about atomic habits, world famous. Everyone talks about the 1% incremental gains, which is great. You do loads of little actions and over time it builds up and it compounds. But actually the negative is still true. And a lot of the time out there, what ends up happening is you have these conversations with people and you don't realize that you're doing things slightly off throughout the process and it's taking them away from the sale. And so you need to be at the stage that we're really, really elevating conversations, lowering resistance, increasing flow, not the other way around. TP lifts. I've got my own recruitment business. I'm really struggling with business development at the moment. Okay. It can be hard. And I mean this with love. If you're finding it hard, the likely that your commitment, clarity, and conviction is high is probably quite low. What you're probably trying to do is you're trying to build a mountain in too much effort. You're not being specific about each point. I think a lot of people try and do this big moment. Got blister. Do this big thing in these conversations. When actually what you want to do, think about being a farmer. You want to be at the stage that you're planting seeds and you're nurturing them for your recruitment company. We worked with a couple of different ones from one-man bands up to companies that got 25, 30 salespeople. And actually it's the same thing each time. We're doing a bit of interest with everyone rather than really focusing on, once we've got people into our sphere of influence, how to elevate it. Where's the level of business at the moment? What are you doing revenue-wise? Let me know. Right. Oh, Ojo Bones is back. Hello, mate. So I'll call, diagnose pain, offer to make them a free website, send them over my portfolio of work and the demo website on WhatsApp, then book in a price. Okay. So what you're doing is a rough outline, makes sense. Break down the next stage for yourself on your cold call of what you're actually doing. So whether you're diagnosing the pain for you and what you think is enough, because actually if you diagnose the pain in the right way and had a better conversation and built the interest up and actually selling more around that hypothetical of what they need to do. Because what you're not doing is, if you're getting a low show up rate, is you're not doing enough commitment on them. So instead of trying to do 20 a day, get to a stage of trying to do 5 a day. Because actually, if you do 5 really good ones and that turns into 2 solid appointments, you're going to be a far better place. You want to have a list of people that you're continuously working and nurturing on. And if you've been doing that for 6 months and you've got all those people you put in, you should actually spend the next month just re-engaging the people from before and re-engaging them and elevating them up. That's what makes a big difference, massively. The cold calling side and hitting the phones, if you guys really get focused in on it, it is an absolute game changer because you can really impact it because you're already working hard. What you need to be able to do is the next stage of that. Okay, cool. Right. I just saw something on here. TP lifts. I do a lot of cold calling, but don't know how to measure the success rate from each call other than actually closing on that call. Okay. When you guys are setting up stages for your sales process, have this in mind. Have a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 goal. So, for example, if you're cold calling, your tier 1 might be in recruitment, found requirement for a proactive role that they're advertising. That might be your tier 1. Booked them in for a call. Tier 2 might be finding out more about their plans for the business for the next 6 months. Tier 3 might just be a bit of fact finding. And then you go, right, okay, how many tier 1, how many tier 2, how many tier 3 can I do each week? And actually the tier 1 is your bigger goal. You want to aim for that all the time. But if you're not hitting that, hitting the tier 2, and if you're not hitting that, the tier 3, and it'll become far easier because then the tier 2s and the tier 3s, your goal then is to move from tier 3 to a tier 2, your tier 2 to a tier 1. And so then you're moving them through that sales process behind it, rather than it just being lose or win or lose, which is what happens for a huge amount of people out there. Yes, I will come back to that one in a second as well. OJ Bones is back. Hey, OJ Bones. Okay, so rather than offering a website demo instantly on the call, I only offer the demo to people that are genuinely interested. Yeah. Think of it another way. Let's forget that it's OJ Bones. Forget the fact that you can actually help. You want to be at the stage that you only want to get on call with people that are genuinely interested. Like the demo isn't actually going to sell them. The demo is just going to prove whether you're the right party to work with. So actually go, okay, what are your 10 discovery questions that your goal is to ask on that tier 1 phone call? And actually, what's that standard of qualification? And if they're not at that stage behind it, you're not selling the sizzle. If you're going into it with, I do 20 of these a day, you're not valuing it. You need to start working out what is the missed revenue that people have by not having a website that works. What is the value cost of missed revenue behind it? So, for example, if I'm phoning a trades organization now, it's not about, no one wants to hire me. No one cares. Literally, no one cares about what we do. Do you know what they want? The results. So if I say to a trades company, so we've worked with loads of great companies recently, but when they meet us, they close set appointments to close rate of 10 to 20%, sometimes 30. We help them get to a 50% close rate. Now, I don't phone them about sales training. We're phoning about how to double their revenue, make more, work less, scale up their sales, make more money from the leads that they've got, get rid of the rejection, get rid of the headaches, get rid of the stress, build a business that's ready to scale, help them getting out of that process. This is what really matters. So if I'm on a conversation with someone now and I'm having a chat to them and we're having a really good conversation, my goal is to fact find where they are in their business and what the pain points are. So I reverse engineer it. You can try and do it this way. It's not about, you just put that lead, I'll come back to it in a second. If we're at the stage now, for example, where I'm talking to someone about my business, let's say I'm talking to OJ Bones. I go, okay, cool. What's your revenue at the minute? It's 20 grand a month. Okay, great. How many appointments do you sit on that a month? I sit 2 a day. And I'm like, hang on a minute. What's your average order value? It's 10 grand. I go, hang on a minute. So you're sitting on 2 a day. That's 40 a month. And you're only doing 20 grand. So you're only bringing 2 clients on a month. What's happened? Like, what's going on? That is a terrible close rate. Like, it's not about the product or service we've got. We want to get to the stage that they sort of bringing that conversation out and then get them talking. And then my goal for the next 4 or 5 minutes is to speak as little as possible and get them talking as much as possible. And then they get to the stage of, I don't want them to just feel safe and happy. I want them to the stage of, I don't know. I've tried everything. This doesn't work. It's hopeless. The industry's changed, blah, blah, blah. And then we start asking hypothetical questions. We ask questions like, okay, cool. So if there was a way that I could show you, and then knocked you over. Just moving this table back a little bit more. So you guys can come in a bit more. Nope. So that's going to drop at any point. So I can sit it back a little bit more now. Start asking hypothetical questions. Listen, hypothetically, do you believe that a 60% close rate, this is our business, do you think, let's say solar company or someone in trades, do you believe a 63% close rate is possible? Because if they don't believe it's possible, they're not going to want to spend the money. But if they're like, well, yeah, no, probably, okay, cool. If it's possible, why haven't you got it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good enough at selling, or maybe it's this, or maybe it's that. Great. If there was a way that I could show you how we did that for other people, and I could send it over on a video, would you even watch it? Oh, yeah, no, I'd watch it if you send me a video. Okay, cool. When can you watch it? I'd watch it today. Cool. What about this? What about if I give you a call tomorrow? You watch the video today. What time do you think you'll watch it? I don't know, 4 o'clock. Okay, do that then. Let's do that. You watch the video today, watch it at 4 o'clock. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow and we're going to go through all your questions. And if it's a fit, we'll work together. Is that a plan you could get behind? Well, yeah, potentially. Cool. So what we've then done is we've used a video as a thing to send them, but then the video then pivots us into getting an appointment. And we've set a standard of what they're going to do for that next call. And then you book them in, you qualify them after we book them in, bang, it's far easier. That's really what you want to do. Anyone who's watching this, by the way, we're doing some in-person events down in Southampton, and we've actually got a video that you guys can watch. If you've got a business and you want help with this stuff, you go to Tusta, tusta.co.uk/start, and there's a 20-minute video on how you guys can do this in your business. But it's so important. It's so important to really realize that what am I saying? Realize what you're saying and why you're saying it is as important as anything else. No one wants your demo. No one wants a phone call. No one wants the meeting. They want to fix a problem of what they're doing. So that's the plan behind it. Right, OJ, I'm going to come back to you just because there's other people on here as well. Okay, right, I'm trying to get back to... Do I know where Guernsey is, Dave? Yeah. Hi, Redwood Automotive. I live on the Isle of Wight, so I'm fully aware of very small little islands. No. Right, are there more questions on this one? I feel like I've just gone past it. Anyone's got questions, by the way, put them in the chat. TP Lifts, what was the turning point in your career that flipped the switch and significantly improved, can't talk sometimes, my close rate? Cold calling appointment setting, I was always quite good on. It was something which I got good on years ago because I had the big work ethic. I was very much like just hit the phones, and I was really playful with it. Like you just have a laugh. Anyone's ever seen that Massarelli guy on Insurance in the States? Like just hit the phones, have fun, mess about, have a laugh. Like because you need to keep a good energy about you. A lot of people are doing it on, oh, I don't want to cold call. Oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to do that. This doesn't actually help you. You need to be at the stage now. Why does stupid charger pack not work? Maybe this will work. 2 seconds. Why is this not charging? No wonder. Stupid charger packs. I might need to take you guys inside. So that was a turning point for me. But again, do you know it's continuous learning? The way that I cold call now is different than the way I cold called 5 years ago. It's all different. Everything's evolving. And this is why continuously improving what you're doing is so important. And it's why it gets overlooked so much. I hope that helps. Reach out. Mulve Media. Or Mulve Media? I don't know. God damn, I just joined the right channel. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day today. If you got questions, pop them in the chat. Oh, here we go. There's a couple more in here. I'm trying to jump between you guys on Insta, you guys on TikTok, and you guys on here. I've lost it now. Where's that question gone? Hugh Jeffrey, would you ever work for a business where you actually don't believe the product is any good? No, because we don't need to. I think it's very easy to say no now because we're in demand, right? But we turn down not a crazy amount, but we turn down companies every month, and it's not just because of the product. Sometimes we turn them down because we just know it's going to be a headache. Like sometimes we'll turn a company down because you know that the business owner's not coachable and they've got a big excuse-itis problem. So if that happens, they pay you and then they don't do the work, then they're going to be moaning later. And we spend a lot of time one-to-one with people. So you want to spend time with people you like, that you get on with well, as well, that makes a difference. Anyone joining us, by the way, we're here on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That's why we jump in between all these ones. I will come back on to you guys on Insta in a second. Mold Media. Hello. Hey, David or Davis. Leads come in from Meta ads. You instantly do a call, or should I try and get them to a Zoom? Okay. So with your media company, I don't know what you do in media. I think picking up the phone is by far the best, simplest way to be able to improve your conversions, even if it's only be a couple of minutes. Because actually, there's a lot of people out there now that still have about getting on Zooms. And actually, a phone call, you can have just a nice conversation. A lot of structure in Zoom, from your discovery and your pivot and blah, 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 blah. So I think that's the biggest thing to be able to think about going off and doing. Tell me more about the business. Web design. Oh, nice. So yeah, again, getting someone on a call, having a conversation, you can do a lot in a 5-minute phone call. Huge amount. It's still, I think, one of the best ways to do it. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone likes being on phone calls, but you've just got to become better at being on phone calls with people. It makes such a difference. Reach out if we can help at all. Mold Media, what should a sales process look like if a lead comes in from Meta ads? Okay, so this is interesting. This depends on where your data is coming from. So you want to be at the stage that you can lower the resistance and increase the flow. So for example, if we have a lead come in, someone submits it, they will get a text message with something about a stat, and it will tell them someone's going to call them. We'll normally call them with a goal of being on that call for under the space of a couple of minutes. Only if that phone call then is going really, really well, we'd stay on longer to book an appointment. If not, we'd normally want to tee up sending them a video and explain a video, an animated video. Ours is at Tusta, tusta.co.uk/start. Have a nose on that. And that's like a 20-minute video we've got on there. And it literally showcases everything we do, who we do it for, how we do it, gives a bit of coaching, gives a bit of training, gives people ideas. That's one of the best uses of our time, because people can watch it in their own time. And then we set up that next stage call, which means they come in so much more interested in actually working with us, which makes a big ass difference. So hopefully that helps. More chat questions in the chat, people. OJ Bones, a long shot here, but I'd like to have a conversation with you and see how we can help with my business and how much mentorship. Okay, so it really depends what you're doing revenue-wise at the moment. But let me just give you a breakdown of this. Let me just type it in the chat for you guys, by the way. I'll do it on you guys as well. So we're on different cameras, people. I know that mental sometimes. Tusta.co.uk/start. Let me just pin this here. By the way, it's not as warm as you might think today. I'm just sat here, and the wind's now coming straight at me. Like, you see the trees go. Annoying. So you can have a watch there, and it depends where your business is at in the nicest way. I do want to put it in here for you guys as well. Let's give it to you guys as well. How do I put a comment on here? There we go. Why am I being so daft today? Comment, there we go. Jesus. Tusta.co.uk/start. There we go. Pin. Did I pin it? Yeah, I did. So you've got that in there, which is one of the easiest things to do. Hello, everyone. Good morning, by the way. Everyone dropping in. Lovely to see you all. If you've got any chats, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. I'll put it in here for you guys on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and all that jazz as well. Like I said, no pressure from my side, but this is the easiest way, and this is why we do this. Is it makes it easier for people to not have to get on a call with us. It can just actually get to that stage of actually understanding a bit more what we do, how we do. It gets a bit more of an idea of what people are trying to think about, what they're trying to achieve as well. So it makes a big difference. By the way, never be ashamed of your revenue. If your business isn't doing as much as you wanted it to, itchy nose, that's okay. Like, it is what it is. Don't stress yourself about it. Just don't sit in that place. One of my favorite phrases out there is, what you're not changing, you're choosing. Revenue wise, not a lot. I'm at the beginning, currently at the beginning of my business. I only started just out of work as a roofer. Okay, cool. So here's something interesting for you. You've now just given me more indication of why you're doing it for trades businesses. If you were a roofer, or you had a roofing business, for example, and you're suddenly the reason why websites fail is because they're designed by people that don't understand the industry. As a person who used to work as a roofer, had a roofing company, I used the combined that experience with my skills for website design to actually help trades businesses thrive from the inside out. That would be a far better way to do it. Click of a finger, terrible. That would actually make more sense. But yeah, there's options out there. And someone said a minute ago, what do we charge? It varies. We got some of our stuff, it's like $1,000 a month on some of our things. We've got our year academy for the full done for you things under $2,000 for the year. And then we've got our bigger programs that are $10,000. We've got bigger programs, our bigger ones like $44,000 a year. And we sell a handful a year to big companies, but not many. So let's sort of give you context behind it. Hopefully that helps. Right, there we go. It's actually getting a bit fresh now. So I might go back inside and hit the phones for a little bit, which is good. And if you guys find this useful, find it helpful and all that stuff, we'll start doing more of these. So if you do, drop me a DM, go and have a little download, go and watch that video, get yourself in there. If there's anything you need, reach out. Anyone who's based down on the South Coast who wants to improve sales in their business, you're looking to scale it out, let me know. We're going to be hosting some in-person discovery days for free. And you come along and get some coaching and all of that stuff. A couple of questions just come in. OJ Bones, I messaged you in the DM. Yeah, cool, man. The best thing to do, honestly, go and watch that video first and then come back to us. Callum Spence, I'm moving into financial services as a mortgage advisor. Any tips? Yes, follow the right people. If you're moving to being financial services and mortgage advisor, if you want to have good sales tips for a solid start, it's working out deliberately what you're going to do, when you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Like, get really clear and really concise about what's being done as well. A lot of people out there get caught up in all the faff, doing all the stuff actually doesn't really matter. It doesn't drive revenue, it doesn't drive leads, doesn't drive conversations. They do things to put off doing the hard work. How many conversations can you be having on a day-to-day basis? Who can you be talking to? How many hands can you shake? How many people can you meet? Like, I know the amount of people who spend an hour driving to a networking event where there's going to be 15 people, where they know 8 of them already. And you go, that's just a terrible use of time. Unless the people you already know, you're nurturing them. But actually, it's an hour for that way. Sorry, no can do. It's lovely when people are trying to come up, but we're probably going to wrap things up pretty soon. It's really important to work out what you're doing with your time. So, for example, if you're a mortgage advisor, who is the primary person you're helping and why? And then how can you find more of those people specifically to have conversations with? And that might be the fact of how can you have loads of 5-minute conversations that lead into you sending them a video or a voice note or an invite, and then that leads into a Zoom conversation or a meeting. You go, okay, cool. Each stage of my sales process, what deliberate actions am I doing at that stage? What am I doing here? What am I doing there? What am I doing here? Then what's the most important part here? What's the most important part here? What's working here? What's working there? That makes a big ass difference. Hopefully this has been helpful today. We might do another live later on there as well, because it's cold outside today. It's freezing. Very cloudy and grim. It was really nice earlier. So listen, thanks for popping in. Good to see everyone. Thank you, Callum. Reach out. There's a link here if anyone sees it. You want to watch a video on what to go off and do and get in touch. Trust.co.uk/start. Watch the video. Reach out if we can help you. If not, go and have a great day. See you later. Right, let's end this one by one. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, goodbye. Thank you. TikTok, good to